You're listening to Polymatic.media, episode 101 for April 2023. Welcome to the Polymaticast. Hey, John, how's it going?
Episode 101, the introduction to bad podcasting.
Bad podcasting we've been doing for, I don't even know, 10 years?
No.
Feels like that.
2016, so.
2016. Okay, so, yeah, I mean, still a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. So what's been going on in the last month?
Lots and lots of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Too much stuff to talk about for work, so I really can't talk about it anyway, so.
Yeah. I finally have a functioning fridge.
Yay! Fridgegate is over.
The saga didn't end. We don't need a backstory, but we got to a point of they got through the refund and they got to scheduling and delivery, and of course that took forever, right? We're talking weeks at a time. Every time I had to have one of these problems, and then they delivered this thing, and the guys were unboxing it because it's boxed, it's wrapped in cardboard and styrofoam things, and the box was perfectly fine. They unwrapped it, and there was this humongous dent in the corner. So I don't know if that was a conversation from last week or not. So I'm like, yeah, I can't receive this. And they're like, yeah, we won't give it to you. So they had to send it back to the store. Of course, fast forward another 2 weeks, finally getting around to figuring out how to get it rescheduled and reordered. And they finally delivered the thing. But of course, there is some bumps along that course of action.
No.
And
wrong model.
Oh, they delivered. So they were supposed to pick up a Frigidaire and deliver the new Bosch, right? Because I should have decided, let me get a better brand, right? You and I had this conversation, on the side. And so what they did is they had the original schedule because they screwed something up. They returned the other one, and so they're like, all right, we're gonna put it to next week, so we'll do it on Tuesday. And of course, what they did is they were delivering the Frigidaire, thinking that the warehouse or somebody screwed up, and that they were going to be picking up a Bosch. And I'm like, so the guy walked in the door, and he's like, wait, are we picking up the Bosch or are we delivering a Bosch? And I'm like, you're delivering a Bosch. And he's like, oh. Yeah, we got a Frigidaire on the truck. I was like, all right. So then had to go back, had another week. Actually, that went from Tuesday to them. Okay, we really screwed this up. It's because they haven't delivered it to the store yet. So they bumped it up to a Friday. And then finally, I got a nice fridge. It's nicer. It's just better quality. It's quiet. I didn't care about this, but it's network capable. So yeah, I know exactly. I didn't care about that. But at least if you leave the door open or something, it sort of barks when you're in. But if I walk all the way up to the third floor, I might not hear the beep. At least my phone will yell at me that way. So it's good to know that, I didn't leave the freezer open or something.
Which is exactly why you need a network.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, there are some things I can do with a Home Assistant will be nice. So, can sort of monitor the temperatures and stuff like that and have a, history. So if there is a problem that is happening, then at least I have some data for it. So.
And this is how we all die.
Yeah. Regardless, it's great to have a normal fridge. It means I can buy normal food and I can cook in the house, and it's just been a wondrous thing. And I've lived here out of maybe out of the 6 months I've lived here, less than half of it had a functioning fridge, and not all in one sequential track of time, fragmented. It worked for a few weeks. It doesn't work. It's fixed now. I just it's been hell for me.
You've been living off crackers.
No, I did a little better than that, but it's just surprising how resourceful you can get. And I I did my best not to live off any fast food or walk down to places around me and live off that. Money was tight, so I just, I had to be careful about how I was, spending my money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyhow, that was the new thing. I know that wasn't sort of on our list, but it's good to have a normal functioning fridge.
Why do we make lists, Alan? Why do we make lists?
I don't know. We go off track all the time. Have you listened to our show?
Yeah. I'm not the one that goes off track here, okay? I'm not the one that goes off track.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I think I've been building a figurine from. It's not an official figurine, but it's from the Cyberpunk anime.
Mm-hmm.
I bought the model off where they sell 3D models from the creator of the model. So
Yeah.
it's like one of the characters from Cyberpunk. It's really cool. I like it. I kind of want to get like airbrush and stuff to paint it, and that's gonna be a project for the next couple of months.
Yeah, that kind of thing is more likely something you would do. And we were talking about building kits, and I just sort of don't do that. I barely did that, and even when I did, the ones that snapped together was about the level of extent of.
Well, there is a reason for
investment.
This, though. I have
Right.
a reason for this.
Oh,
for
okay.
getting this, because I want to build models of my own characters.
Oh, okay.
Getting myself a
Acrylic.
one of like these things, I can see how to divvy up a model, which will work fine for this model and will not work for this model. But if I know kind of the way that I can do this, then I can. And I've been playing with Blender a lot, so I've been sculpting things, and I've been trying to look into how to sculpt things for making figures. And it seemed like a nice new project for myself to do in my spare time, which I don't have much of. But besides all the book 4 stuff already.
Oh, you're already starting.
I've only sold a couple of copies anyway for book 3. I'm like, okay, I'll just go to book 4. Book 4 will be the one that I make a lot of money off.
You always tell me the same thing. You're like, I'll never do it again. It's so much work. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm already on book 7.
yeah, something like that. No, book 4 is for 2025 release, so okay. I've got some time. But
it still takes you time to get the art, to figure out what the art is, to figure out the layouts.
But I've already planned about let's see, that's 16 per line. I have 6 lines, so that's a lot of artwork already in the queue for book 4.
So I need to, you're reminding me I need to check in. It's been a moment since Matt got his. I wonder if he's checked it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never heard an opinion on it, so.
Yeah, he'll give you an opinion.
Next review on the OG.
I don't know. We'll see. Probably ask him privately first, just to be sure.
I'll sponsor OG. Which one do you want to go into first? I have a couple of topics on the list today.
I mean, okay. So I'll start off. I mentioned I was hanging out with friends this week. We did a watch party, and we watched the Tetris movie together. So you can set things up like that in Discord. So they did. Someone has an Apple TV, so it's like original. I guess it's free. It's available for free. Anyone who has Apple TVs. So I watched it. I knew a little bit of the history. It's based on real facts or the real story plus drama. So that combo makes it a good movie. The real facts is that there was a programmer. This is before sort of Russia and USSR sort of changed. So if you made anything, you made it for the good of your country. You didn't make it the good of your, it wasn't your patent. It was the country's patent, that kind of thing. And so someone created a game, and just out of fun, and of course it was the ownership of the company he worked for, which was obviously a a government company. And so there were some troubles about licensing. So that's sort of where they hinge all the drama. And of course, they include country level politics into it. Yeah, so I won't really ruin that. And I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I know there was some truth there. I know that originally the game was very distracting to a lot of people, and I know that they were using it as a way. Russia was using it as a way to check people's hand-eye coordination, and they used it as a recruitment tool, right, for younger generation to see who would be good for pilots, right? And so, and anyone who was who were mathematicians, it appealed to them, and that was a way they could kind of recruit according to how effective people were at the game. So that was what I understood as original conversation about it. And then obviously they go through sort of all the licensing sort of wars on this thing, which is where the drama. But except for some of the things that are maybe probably obvious, a lot of the names and people are real. So, yeah. So, I mean, in the end, we all know what the sort of the happy ending was, but it didn't start that way. But it was a good movie. It was a very good movie. Especially if you know a little of the history, you've ever played the game, and, just sort of wanted to know what the world was like back in the 80s. Yeah. So that was it. It's a good movie. I recommend it. If you have an Apple TV, then you should be able to just watch it.
Is it on the Apple video stuff?
Yeah.
The Apple TV stuff?
Yep. I don't own one, so I
have 3 months of free Apple TV.
Yeah. So I guess if you have that service, you can watch it. I know there's some other things, like I heard Ted Lasso and a couple other shows that are really good. And
there's the show from what was it called again? The sci-fi show. What's it called?
Right. That Foundation. Was the one. What was it?
Foundation.
Yeah. So
I like it.
I've never seen it. I've
read the books.
Apple TV.
And watched the show. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I have no interest to do it. As much as I want to watch the Weird Al movie, I'm not going to buy a Roku just to watch it. Just won't. Yeah.
Okay. So, speaking of streaming stuff, Picard.
Mm-hmm.
Season 3 so far, very good.
Yeah, better.
Compared to the other 2 seasons, it's very good.
Yeah, I think I like the effort in trying in season 1. Rafi annoyed the hell out of me. She's just sort of problematic as a character for me.
She's still very annoying in season 3.
Yeah, she's a little less annoying, a little less, only by a smidge, in season 2. But then, of course, they do it's not that they run out of ideas. They're like the mechanisms they used to use when they were filler, we run out of ideas. They use that just kind of like they did with Discovery, where I call it jumping the shark, where they just sort of went way over the top, off board, pivoted all kind of unnecessary ways, and then overcomplicated it to fill in gaps. And then season 3 is like the normal kind of Star Trek that we like. But with all our references, so they bring all the people from the past into our...
It's not a show that is it's not episodic. It's like one big story.
Yeah, but it's rooted back into sort of the larger universe, where before they were constructing their own BS between 2 seasons. And I'm sure maybe that stuff will come back. I don't know. But that's it. Season 3 is good. How much of the BS do you have to get through? Probably a little bit. There's probably about 5% of that that's meaningful going forward. If you just skip right to 3, I'm sure you'd be okay, and you don't need to be informed by all its
Well,
past.
there's some, like, season 1 is kind of important for, like, the whole situation.
I guess, but you got to get to the end of season 1 to get there.
Yeah, which means space flowers.
Yeah.
Just leave that there.
So, but Strange New Worlds is great. I like it.
Okay.
A Discovery in its later years is good, but again, you have to kind of go through a lot of such good promise, such bad execution. They're trying too much kind of problems. So, that being said, this is what you had said is final season, so that's good. And
Yep.
we'll see what else they offer. If they decide to offer, at least I'm good that the Paramount Plus or CBS All Access, whatever it is, they're finally producing original content that I want to consume.
Yeah, I'm kind of annoyed at the fact that it's so dumb with the whole streaming service. Oh, you can watch it on this. You need this streaming service for this streaming service for that, and I was like, okay, just
Right.
I just have to deal with this, and you have to figure it out. And you cannot figure out if it's on the streaming service until you subscribe to the streaming service and say, I want to watch this.
Mm-hmm. And
right? And then, oh no, it is on this streaming service, but only in the USA. And you have to get Ziggy, Zoogie, Zaggy, whatever.
Right. So I mentioned, you used to be able to Stargate was always sort of licensed on Netflix, and then it wasn't licensed on Netflix, and then it was available on Amazon Prime Video for free.
Yeah.
Great. So I had that for a while. Then that went away maybe a month ago. And during this sort of time of having too much time on my hands, it would have been good to be able to like have that to sort of watch through the various seasons of Stargate, and it would have been just good as something to have that is a show that I like, and it would have been good to have it, and it just wasn't available. And again, maybe it was available for you, other licensing methods, but not for me. And then,
well, Stargate, for example, came from what's it?
Showtime.
Yeah, but it's on. Wait a minute.
No, it was originally a Showtime original, just like HBO used to have content. Showtime had Stargate.
It's on Prime now for free.
Okay, so maybe for you, but
Yeah.
it came back on Prime, but I don't know that it came back from because of Amazon licensing it. I pay for Paramount Plus.
Yeah, I had to pay for MGM.
Okay, so for me, it's Paramount Plus, and that's where the Star Trek stuff is, and that's also where all the CBS All Access stuff is. So if I want to watch Big Bang Theory, How I Met Your Mother, that kind of stuff, those shows all come from CBS and Paramount, sort of merging their stream platform. They call it Paramount Plus, and then recently Paramount Plus is sort of merged their streaming for Showtime. So Showtime, it's not a separate thing you have to buy. So now I can get those three things together. And so for me, recently I noticed that Stargate was on Amazon, and it was because Paramount Plus has a relationship now with Showtime. So any of the Showtime content I can now watch, unfortunately not directly, but like through the proxy of Paramount Plus channel through Amazon Video.
There's so many.
It's so convoluted.
Services.
It's such a mess, but at least I can get my Stargate.
$10
back.
for this, $10 for that, and I just want to watch a specific show.
Yeah,
and like I have the DVDs for some of these shows. I'm like, do I want to go and just rip them?
I wish Amazon, like they did with the other show that you liked that I watched.
Fringe.
No,
you didn't like Fringe?
No, I liked it. That's not the one I'm thinking of. Starts with an E.
You mean
I don't know why
Eureka?
I'm blanking. It was your favorite show. We watched multiple seasons. They're in space.
Expanse.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So anyway, I hope that they would have picked up sort of go forward licensing with Stargate and produce original content from it, like new stuff, like they're doing with Star Trek. And
Well, isn't there a new? They're doing continuation now.
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? Okay, I
I
did hear some
literally
stuff
don't
about
know.
that. Yeah.
There's like you had said something, and I think there were some rumors. I don't know. That's it. That's the question. I really don't know.
From what I heard, is that there's going to be a new show, a continuation.
Okay. Well, I really don't know. So, and it seemed like it was troublesome when it disappeared from Amazon Prime Video as free. So, what's going on here?
It's kind of cool that I can now watch this show again.
Yeah. So I did. I picked up a couple of those. I also started watching, starting in, I think there's probably going to be a couple episodes that I'm just like, yeah, I'm tired of this episode. I'll skip it. But I started watching TNG occasionally as well. So watching this sort of cringeworthy first seasons.
Yeah,
but I'm just sort of in this void of wanting something that I like that isn't too complicated, isn't full of vampires and werewolves in spacesuits dancing around with 30-year-olds who pretending to be 15-year-olds with bad writing and drama. Like that's all. That's all we get. Oh, and then just toss some zombies in there. Some zombies for comical relief. Like that's all that like Netflix is filled with. That crap.
You mean the 100?
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah. I mean, just like that. That's all like CW.
Although,
stuff.
like, there's a show that I kind of liked. It's more like a guilty pleasure. Supernatural. Have you seen that show?
I'm not. I had friends who liked the show. I never got into it. Never got into Arrow. Any of the shows that came on CW always had a lot of good promise, but then they were always filled with a lot of just unnecessary stuff. So The Flash, like if you take all of The Flash and you just boil it down to a third, if you could take all the filler crap out and boil it down to a third, it's a really good show. Same thing with like Supergirl. Really good show. 100, it had so much promise and so much,
disgusting.
Yeah.
I stopped watching after the first few episodes. I was like, oh yeah, I'm not watching this. This is super bad.
And so I was sort of well invested, so I kind of just put it on the side and did other things and just sort of, see? A good nugget. A tiny little nugget right here that you could build off of, and this would be a really good show. Oh, wait, here's the other 99% of crap. And that's how their CW sort of business model works, right? And that's why I never watch Riverdale. It's just like you get these little good nuggets of great with reasonable production value and just a lot of unnecessary stuff, just pushed at you.
If you want a good show to put on in the background, and which is still very entertaining, very, it's not science fiction, which is also a nice, nice change for a while. Supernatural, I can highly recommend.
Okay.
And it's actually, it has some of those shows where it like pokes fun at itself.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like specials.
Yeah.
And I liked Supernatural a lot. They're done, but and it gets bigger and bigger like all the time, which is a kind of like a superhero type trope, but like they started that within the first season, so they already know that's going to be a big mess, and it's a nice show. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I actually finished the show finally. I think the last season was like 2020 something. So, yeah.
I know it ran for a while.
Yeah.
And again, I'm aware of it, but I've never watched it myself.
Nope. But it's a good show. And I hear that there's going to be a TV show or movie for Horizon, for the game that I'm playing. So. Mm-hmm. On Netflix, so I'm kind of worried about that one because I know that they're very capable of screwing that up. Like Netflix is where all the shows that you want to see go to die.
So there are a couple things where they will eventually have a couple good shows, but they also try a lot of stuff, and they try a lot of stuff at sort of cheap production, and you get a lot of sort of cheap production premises. And while I've watched a bunch of Katie Sackhoff stuff, where the cheap production and okay, it's not that her acting is bad. It's just that like the premise of the idea is okay, and the story is okay, and when you need lots of filler stuff, some of that
So
stuff's
Netflix
okay.
is the network of okay.
Yeah, but then you get like Wednesday, and you get Umbrella Academy. For me, not Stranger Things, but for other people, Stranger Things.
Umbrella Academy got canceled as well. So
Yeah, they really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you might be right. It might have come to the end. I just use an app to track everything. So unless it says continuing, no. So what Netflix does is they peak out at 4, and then
there's a new season for Umbrella Academy. I was lying.
Yeah, I think
thought they were canceled.
They set their rule a long time ago. And they peak out at 4, so they don't go farther than 4. And
which
that's
is kind of worrying about Stranger Things.
I thought they were done.
No, there's another season coming.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I was never into. Yeah, I don't have it listed, so maybe you might be right. I don't know. I usually put them on hide this if.
You have an app to track if the show is going to continue or not?
I do have an app that I've had for years to track all the shows that I've ever watched. If you can put movies in here too, but I never put the movies in. And it also lets you know, it gives me indication of, so I had to unhide all the things. So Umbrella Academy. So they track, and that's how I know something's been canceled. Yeah, see, I saw Warehouse 13. It got to the W's. Yeah, I'm not seeing Umbrella Academy in here, and that might be just my problem. I won't waste time here looking for it.
Good. Speaking of canceled things, the death of Twitter.
Yeah. I mean, It's not getting any better.
From what I can see, that the people who had the this is on the 2nd of April. People that had the legacy blue check marks still have the legacy blue check marks. So
I think I understand the driving idea, but I think it's just getting confusing, and that's the only thing with his presence. A lot of stuff got confusing, and not in a good way. So, yeah, I mean, not great. The problem is Twitter was so timid to do anything, and make any kind of change. But one of the things that they were, at least, I know it's hard to give them credit for it, by not doing much, they were at least pretty consistent that they didn't really grow or innovate. They just sort of maintained.
Yep. It was a good source of news.
So you could kind of,
that was happening.
rely that it wasn't going to be tragically changing. But also, they were never profitable. They made some money, but they were never profitable. So how do you fix that problem?
Not that they're going to be ever now.
Yeah.
But
and they had a problem where anybody could sign up, and there was no sort of validation or verification. There was nothing in that. And that's why there were so many bots. Like my original, sort of my common name that I have out there, I had that originally as my Twitter. And then my friend Sukhjit, we were having a conversation, something about chocolate, and, obviously in public. And all of a sudden I had like a dozen chocolate bots following me. And you got to go way back when. So I just sort of made it private, and then I spent hours going through and blocking all followers and crap. And so, like, this problem had been present very early on, and it's only gotten worse. And then, obviously,
it's still happening.
Yeah.
Like, you were blocking all the bots. Yeah, sure.
So if you have to make someone pay to do that, then I get it, but then that's now doing what everyone else has been doing, which is wall gardening, right? And that kind of sucks. So
The whole thing, the man child Space Karen is in charge. He is like, his ego got bruised when he got voted out. People voted, said no, just actually said, should I step down? Yes, you should step down. Go away, Space Karen. And his ego got bruised, and now nobody can vote in polls anymore, starting the 15th of April.
yeah, I don't know that that's a direct attachment. I think the problem is you go in Silicon Valley, you have a lot of people saying, are very, look, I have friends who live this lifestyle, and Silicon was it Silicon Valley on HBO. While it's a very sort of funny show, it's also a lot of the absurdity is very true. And there are a tremendous amount of people who are like, I can do your job, right? Egos. And you can't just like pull a CEO out of the ether for everyone who's volunteering, right? Because there are a ton of egomaniacs that live in that world, and exist in that space, that would happy to be the next Twitter CEO. So you got to kind of be careful how you do that selection. Now, that being said, I don't think he should be the CEO.
Oh,
So
also,
that's
the whole
obvious.
reason we cannot vote in polls anymore after the 15th of April is because of this. That's the only reason.
So let me ask this question. What are the things how do you solve the spam problem? You block a bunch of people and then they just roll on and script and sign up again.
That has nothing to do with polls. He deliberately, because he got, his ass handed to him in that poll, turned off people allowing to vote in polls on Twitter. So what good are polls then?
Right. So, it's going back is, how do you solve the bot problem, right? So you make people pay. Okay, great. He shouldn't have done the usurping the blue check mark. I think I get it. Like from a marketing perspective, it seems like a natural idea, but it's a bad idea, right? Yeah. It should be something different. Like it should be Twitter Pro or something like that. Or Twitter Blue shouldn't be using the verified mark, right? Because that was a well-established
verification
thing.
and stuff.
They established a pattern and a standard which everyone adopted and was a good idea, and he shouldn't have screwed with that. So that's a disagreement on my part. But then what do you do to differentiate the few features you can offer, right? And obviously adding polls, I don't know. I guess is this the idea, the attempt to deal with the bot problem? I don't know.
He basically came out and said like, there's so many bots in the poll, and now nobody can vote in polls anymore unless you're paying for blue, which is like all the bots are now paying for blue.
Okay, so
freaking moron.
I don't know. So I don't know how you make the company profitable, and I don't know how you solve that problem, and there are just some things that are being done that are messing with everything. So the few things that were good ideas are getting screwed with now, and probably not the best decision. And I've seen him make these decisions on SpaceX, and then people complain in a meaningful way, and then he reverts. So I don't know that we're going to get that here. I don't know what's going on. This is such a minor thing. I only seen in my sort of feed, I only see polls occasionally. So, and you don't have to answer them. So for me, it's not like big whoop, right?
Yeah, but if you're like 1,000 followers, right? You have 1,000 followers, and of those 1,000 followers, who are mostly artists, you're not going to find anybody who's paying for Twitter Blue. So you cannot do polls on Twitter anymore, because nobody's going to vote in them because nobody has Twitter Blue, and you only get the crypto bro spammer people that are voting in polls. So polls are useless on Twitter now, because nobody can vote in polls anymore if you're not a Blue subscriber. Now, I can see some of the services in Blue that are useful for people who are
like
creators.
editing or larger,
Yeah, larger
Yeah, I agree
tweets,
with
higher
that.
resolution,
Is that
or
enough,
high resolution video, longer video. I can understand that. Completely agree with that kind of stuff, that you have to pay for that. That's great. As a content creator, I 100% on board. However, the check mark,
I don't get, and polls I think is sort of, I get it if you're thinking about
it would have been
bots.
so much nicer if they had, instead of gone for a check mark, like they'd given somebody a flare, like a Twitter border or whatever, that you have, I'm paying for Twitter Pro
Right.
services, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Some visual indicator
The
that
check
made
mark
sense.
was supposed to be you're an official account or something like that. Keep it that way.
Include trust. Yeah, and I get it. And messing with that seems stupid to me. I agree with that.
He's like he's thinking he can solve all the problems. Oh, yeah, but nobody's thought of this before. Surely nobody's done this. Yeah, okay. And then somebody comments on like he's not telling the truth, and he just gets a comment from some of the people in his organization, and he fires them, which is wonderful. Like it's constantly like he with the one developer from Iceland, like that he just went after, and it turns out, oh yeah, wait, he he sold his company to Twitter, and it's kind of. It's so cringy, the way he's dealing with this, and it would be so much better if he just let Twitter be Twitter and be handled by somebody who's a little bit more, can spend his attention on that kind of stuff, and maybe just go play with his rockets and cars and stuff. That would be nice. Like I don't think he should be in charge of a social media. That's like the worst place for him to be. Yeah, just make less of a mess, please.
Yeah, I don't think he should be at the helm anymore. I mean, he shouldn't have been at the helm to begin with. And that's what it is. So.
Yep. Okay, we had another topic about AI, machine learning, but we're already like 40 minutes in, so maybe we should.
I mean, my short one is it's what I've been saying, where look. Media is misusing it. The term is incorrect. All this stuff. ChatGPT is not AI. It's just a large machine learning model. Yeah, you have an interface with. It's not thinking on its own. Yep. It's just resourcing. So.
Yep, and that's kind of funny because there's so many people that are like, "Oh yeah, but it's AI. It's AI." No, it's not AI. It's not AI in any definition. Yeah, it's just machine learning. Just doing, and it's not even machine learning. It's just prediction. So it's not actually learning anything. Even that is like.
No, I mean people help retrain and do some correction, and that's how you get to the next version, right? There's a human intervention. It's not doing it on its own. And I've heard about the artist debate, right? Where people they're coming at, and it's like, look. It's creating art out of existing sample data. So at some point, it's going to be, it's going to be circular, and it needs variance in human input to make it be as amazing it could be as we see with like Midjourney. So.
I look forward to your first.
AI is not what we have. Everyone's impressed by what they think is AI, and it's too much of a marketable term that media just misuses. So it's not. It is technically not, but because of this sort of stupid nature of how things work, it becomes the term that it was not its etymology for. So.
I think when the next when you get the first season of all AI anime on OG,
look, we
generated anime. It's gonna be.
You've had some version of machine learning stuff in your life for a lot of your service people, so it's not like it's new. And this all-encompassing thing. I know we all want the, hey computer, blah, 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 I want this, cross-referencing with this data from this year, blah, blah, like we all want the Geordie effect, right? Where he talks to a thing and all of a sudden you magically have something. And then, load that up in the holodeck. Like we're nowhere near that, and we're nowhere near Skynet yet. If we just sort of are careless, and careless for greedy sake, then yes, we'll have Skynet, in a bad way, right? Not in a
I
good
also
way.
see a lot of companies gonna go under soon because they invest so much in this version and this stuff, and they're like gonna be like, oh yeah, but now we can get rid of all our support employees, and then ChatGPT or whatever is gonna make a very big mistake, and it's gonna cost them millions.
Yeah, so I had to call the pharmacy, and I was getting sort of stuck in a loop in the auto attendant thing, and they're getting smarter and smarter and smarter, and then I'm just sitting there for 3 minutes, sort of, nope, I want to talk to the pharmacy. I just want to talk. You know what? It would have been better for me to literally stand in line and go talk to somebody. I just needed to talk to a human for 5 minutes, and I did, and then I came in and I got what I needed, and I was done. But I didn't need to talk to the auto attendant system. And why? Why are they doing that? Now, if you ever gone to the pharmacy, no matter what time of the day, the phone is ringing constantly. Why? Because there's a ton of people who are just calling in. So that's why they did that, to like make the system work without bugging the few employees, right? Because they're just overwhelmed all the time. So
yeah, but they're getting rid of people in place of adding more people. They're gonna put in these bots, which are gonna be horrible because they're gonna suggest the wrong thing, and they're gonna make the wrong appointments and make the wrong thing, and it's gonna be
and that's true.
And there's gonna be a lawsuit eventually, and then stuff gonna be banned. I think ChatGPT got banned in Italy. I think.
Okay.
So, well, it's the first one.
Yeah. So
because apparently there's a privacy issue from like data being shared that's not supposed to be shared. So I think that's one of the things. I think Elon Musk is not very happy with AI at the moment, I think.
So he I don't know what the clear details. He was involved early on with OpenAI.
Oh yeah,
I think he provided some money. I don't know if he was an exact founder, but its success is not Elon's success. It's OpenAI's success.
He signed a letter demanding AI research pause for a bit.
Right, but he's always been pretty vocal about concerns. And OpenAI was supposed to be a nonprofit organization, and it was not supposed to be involved in military and a whole slew of other things. And that was and again, I don't know. I know he was very involved in its early days, and I don't know if it was just financial or if he helped set it up. I'm not entirely sure. But OpenAI is a spin-off of what they were doing with Dojo in Tesla. They were been privately doing AI for since way back when. So
maybe he's just trying to make another buck by having his own stuff catch up.
No, OpenAI was always supposed to be nonprofit. And it was always impressive pretty early on, and then they came up with GPT model, and a lot of people built stuff off even in 2.0, and it seemed nonsensical, but it was probably one of the most impressive stuff, where any stuff Google was doing was very what was it, the Dreamscape thing? It was like nightmarish, paintings.
We should have the
DeepMind, that's what they called it.
Yeah, we should have the train a bot on our voices and have a Polymaticast generated with the audio. You know what? You could write reviews for OG. Just have them do the season reviews.
Yeah, I wish. it will start sounding like the people who make the anime. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not what you think, people, for those, for Steve and just the two other people that listen to the show. Like, it's not what you think. That's the key point here. It's being misrepresented incorrectly. And while it's impressive, we're getting to provable states of things that are impressive. But for example, AI has been functioning in Google for your YouTube algorithms and all kinds of stuff. And we know it's imperfect, but given the level of scale that they have, it's been
Well, that's
doing
machine learning still. That's not AI.
right. Yeah, it's not AI. Correct. I'm
You're falling
misusing
victim
it,
to your own.
misusing it to sort of bring it down, level set it with normal people. It's machine learning. And machine learning models, right? So you train with machine learning, and then you interface with it through the machine learning systems. So,
Yeah. Anyway, also, I have one thing on my list, and then it's up to you. I have a game that I'm playing. It's called Horizon Forbidden West, and there's supposed to be an expansion coming out soon. And it's only going to be on the PlayStation 5, and I bought a PlayStation 4 so I could play this game. And the expansion is only going to come out on the PlayStation 5, and I'm very angry about that.
can you sell your 4? Is there anything else on the 4 that you?
I
would
nothing
never
on the
buy
4
a
that I wanna
console
play.
for a single
But the
game.
problem is I put it on my wall.
Okay.
I put the PS4 on my wall. It's also Blu-ray player, so it's kind of okay,
Well,
next
so
to
you
the
put it on
TV.
your wall. I mean, are the mounts sort of universal?
No, the PS5 looks like nothing else.
Well, you can take the mount off and then put something else on, right?
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay. I mean, I get your irritation, right? It's got to come out on the 5 because they want to promote it and make it exclusive, and that's just the way
No, I
things are.
think there's some actual technical limitations for the PS4 versus PS5, and I can see the difference between PS4 and PS5 version.
Mm-hmm.
The PS4 version kind of looks like the PC version for the first game, like in quality and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty game. It's a pretty nice game. But like the faces look so different on the PS4 versus the PS5. So I may upgrade, but then again, it's another $540 for a PS5 that I want.
Yeah, it seems too expensive. I think the sort of the shutdown for me on most consoles is the games are expensive, and then the hardware is expensive, and it gets outdated every year, basically, or every couple years.
I wish they'd just bring it out on the PC at the same time. It's so stupid, these exclusives. And it's like, they're PCs. They are PCs. Like the Xbox, the PlayStation, they are just PCs.
It was Linux, basically, running Linux.
Yep. Why can't they just put it on the Steam Deck?
Well,
Make so much money.
To answer this problem, that's why Steam came about.
Yep.
Like a long time ago. So the fact that they got in the business of building hardware, and fairly impressive hardware, is a positive. But it just means that I just don't play those games, right? I haven't played Halo in such a long time. I don't have Xbox anything.
The first game came out on the PC eventually, like after like 3 or 4 years.
Well, and
I don't want to wait 3 or 4 years on the next game.
Yeah. But also, I'll grab a game. I installed a couple games that I had in the past that I liked, and then once I got in there, I was like, I saw where my campaign was. I go, oh, I got to the challenging point that I couldn't figure out how to get past. That's why I uninstalled it. So I have a couple of those games that I installed recently, and now I understand. I realize what my deal was.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just decide after like June or something. I was actually going to look forward to like playing the expansion. But I'm already at like level 42 out of 50, so I haven't even finished the base game yet. So I don't know. I was hoping to finish the game on the PS4 and then be done with the PS4. Like that's the only reason I bought it. That's why I wanted to get the PlayStation 4. And yeah, I'm
And
just. But you can upgrade it to on the PS5, so you can just stick the PS4 game into the PS5 and it will play the game, and it will upgrade the graphics and shit because it just
yeah.
downloads it anyway. So
So when's is the 5 out yet? When's it coming?
But the
Or is it?
five,
Yeah, is the 5
PS5,
out?
it's been out for years already.
Okay. I don't follow. I don't track any
Yeah,
of the
it's
Xbox. I
been
don't know
hard
the
to get
models.
one because of the Rona situation. So it's been hard to get one, but it's freely available now.
I
so
mean,
you
we're
can
3
easily
years
get it.
out from that, so I
Yeah.
would assume that they should have figured stuff out within the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's why I said it. Like you can buy one for 500 something, but I just I don't know. I don't want to spend $500 on something like that.
My point is, I'm sure that the PS4 still retains some value if you were to try to sell it.
Yeah, it's a yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's also transferring over saves is kind of a hassle, and yeah, I'll have to think about it. I don't know if I'll.
You're
I'll
doing
get the
all this
expansion.
for one game, so is
Yep,
it worth
yep.
$500?
Yeah, that's the question.
So can you wait it out and see if it hopefully would find its way, onto
It won't.
something?
It won't end up on the PS4 anyway. So
Yeah.
technical limitations or something or else.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my complaining corner.
Okay.
Okay.
So big news, not really big news. I decided I was doing this Otaku's Life for 12 years, so I decided
Speaking
to
of canceling,
stop doing it. For really just a couple reasons. A small reason, it cost me money. I mean, not a tremendous amount, but I can still save, a few $100 a year. So that's something, right? The other thing is, been doing it for a really long time, and while I had larger intentions for it, they never really formalized because I never put that energy or time into it. And I had lots of, the simplest description is like biographical vignettes. And, if my perspective and my life experience doesn't dramatically change a lot, I feel like could be repeating myself. And I don't know if I did or I chose to repeat a concept idea and I chose to talk about it in different perspectives. But regardless, it did serve as a good place to document some moments and to capture sort of my honest perspective of the time or experience. But I've been doing it for 12 years. And while it was good when I needed to have something to commit to on my Thursdays, I want my time back. I want that time to Minecraft. I want that time to procrastinate on my Thursday nights for a Friday release, right? And so I just I've known for 12 years. And when I started, I needed an outlet. And 12 years later, I don't so much need that anymore. And I'm not sure the audience is I know the audience isn't so extraordinarily large that it demands me to be held responsible to other people. So I'm just going to stop doing it. I think if I do any more randomly, it will happen just as patron only. So that's it. I did it for 12 years. And people are like, wait, you've been doing that for 12 years? And I'm like, yeah, but the only to get it to happen is me. Sit in front of the mic. I rant for a few minutes. I clean it up a little bit, I comp it a little bit, and then I release it. That's it. It's like a few hours on a Thursday night. It's maybe a couple hours at best, at worst. And that was it. That's the only reason I just did that for 12 years, right? In the early days, it was a lot worse because I hadn't found my voice yet. So, but yeah, that's it. I stopped doing it. And I've already had a couple of people like, wait, is OG going away? Or are these going away? And I'm like, no, they're fine. I just decided to stop doing this thing. That's all.
You heard it here first. OG is canceled.
Wait.
Polymatic is next.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when's the book gonna come in? I'm trying to find a phrasing for it. I hadn't gotten there. Book apocalypse something. There's a mashup in there.
What?
That the book is gonna take all your time over, and we're not gonna do Polymatic anymore. I mean,
Oh, that
we
way.
skip every once in a while. It's not like
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
a
It's like when stuff
guaranteed
is really
thing.
busy. It's like
Yeah.
it's not supposed to be a high production value, super intense
Yeah.
thing. It
I
takes
mean,
me almost a month to fucking edit this thing
that's
anyway.
the nice thing is that I'm not building a radio lab. I'm not doing serial. I'm not doing something that requires me to have a full-time job on it only. I'm not doing this amazing sound design.
Yeah.
Reply All doesn't really exist anymore, but like when Reply All was great, I'm not doing that level of production or content creation, right? It's mostly opinion casts, right? We talk and we do a thing. That being said, there are a few shows that are really successful at that. The ones that are mostly successful at that are people that are semi-famous or become famous from being semi-famous or knowing more famous people being semi-famous. And those ones are easy. They can have pretty good conversations and interviews. But you're only there because of recognizable famous people, right? And they have their own built-in mechanism that allow them to be successful, right? As a sort of a direct correlation. So there's a ton of opinion casts, and they're all sort of not good, right? Even as a podcaster, I can't say OG's been perfect forever. That's not.
Now,
That's
Polymatic is
certainly
in the
not true.
top two podcasts
For Steve.
from the opposite end. So,
Oh yeah. The
bottom.
the top of the second to last. Of the second
Bottom
to
of the
last
barrel
show,
cast.
it's the top of the second to last.
We're the bottom of the barrel cast.
Yeah, barrel cast.
Yeah, that's our new venture.
Yeah. Oh,
Bottom
we
of the
talk
barrel.
about Minecraft and all the recipes.
Well,
I'm sure those shows exist. There's got to be some Minecraft podcasts.
we could record an episode while we're playing Minecraft.
We
Put up
could,
video.
and then we put up our. Yeah, we could do that. I mean, don't they
That's
call
gonna
those
be a
streams?
horrible thing to edit.
No, don't they call those? And you just do that on Twitch. That's what people do.
Yeah.
Right? I mean that's what happens, right? I have friends who are sort of have their own little streaming community out of Philly, and they get together, and if I want to play Deep Rock Galactica, I could hang out with them, and we do. It's just sort of like that. We hang out, we talk, and we play together. Now I don't normally I have Deep Rock, but I don't normally play. I hang out and sort of the audience side. But there's nothing stopping me. I've always been invited to hop on the voice chat and chat with them, So
I think I have Deep Rock Galactic. I should have a.
it's a fun game.
play it at
Paul
some point.
gifted it to me, and I played it a little bit. And he's like, "It's like Minecrafting," and I'm like, "It's so not like Minecrafting."
It's so not like Minecraft.
No, and I think if you play it on your own to sort of build up your skills, and you spend the time on that with the intention that you're going to play with friends, I totally get why I would invest a lot of time on it. But I alone played the game, and I was like, yeah, I kind of want to go Minecraft now, right? It's just one of those things where if you're just sort of playing it alone, I guess I have to have sort of larger purpose, right?
Yeah.
At least in Minecraft, what I've been doing now is sort of exploring your server, but also finding interesting things. I sort of, not as I captured, but I secured up one village, and then I found another one, and I was sort of finishing up my securing up, last night. That's why I was online. But I had to have a purpose for what I was doing there. If I'm just grinding away, it's not that fun.
Building
right?
hamster tubes.
I haven't built any hamster tubes.
I know.
Got
Very
warp
thankful
now.
for that.
I got warp. Told you, just give me the warp. That's all. Because I can warp in, and I work. You got to build your safe place, but and that way I can kind of explore without this endless tunnel. So, and those things were neat. I learned by doing that a lot and build outposts and doing that kind of stuff, and that was sort of explore in a safe way. But now that I got warp, it's great.
Minecraft Corner.
Yeah.
We have a segment, Minecraft Corner. But
Yeah.
hey, now you have a new game to play.
I do. Sunhaven.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw my streamer friends playing it, and I was like, what are you playing? There's like, oh, it's like Stardew Valley, and then they were going on very specific things about like what's better about it and great. So I was like, okay, cool. And then I was like, oh, I don't need to spend $25 on that. I'm not ready for a new game yet. And so I shut myself down. I added it to my wish list. And of course, John gifted it to me during our recording. So
Yeah. I've been playing more like narrative games, like bigger narrative games, like for example, Cyberpunk and like Horizon and Death Stranding. I'm gonna start Death Stranding soon. I bought it for cheap, so I also saw that there was what's it called again? Tiny Tina's Wonderland Adventure or something like that.
oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a fake RPG game, and it's like really snarky humor and stuff like that. So I kind of like that, and I kind of want to give that a chance at some point. It's like $29 at the moment, so that's kind of nice. But I also have like Valheim and Hades and Celeste in my queue to finish. Like I just want to, when I play a game, I don't want to focus my attention on the game, not have the game, and then also be playing a show or whatever on the side.
Right.
Which is like Minecraft is the kind of game where I can have a show on the background and play the game.
Yeah. And that's what I do too. Right. Yeah. And that's sort of my universe now. It fills my time. It also, sometimes you need that. Right. And don't get me wrong. Like I'm listening to a thing or I'm watching something that I already know, like Stargate or Next Generation. And I'll watch a show without my full attention, which is okay. And I can do those sort of things that I'm doing in the Minecraft server. And I have little projects to go work on, right? And sort of, let's say, capturing a village and then encouraging the growth in it is positive. Your friend who's on the server, we're on the server, we go, and there's some new stuff in Minecraft. So there's new interesting things going on. The lush caves, I seem to find them with no problem. And then I was like, hey, you want to go help me secure this up? And then we do it. And then, we find really interesting mine shafts and like there are things to explore. And that's good. And it becomes an extra thing when there's someone else that's kind of present all the time. Or overlapping when you're around as well. And so like we can kind of do things together and help each other. And it's fun in that respect. But if I'm just doing it on my own, like my level of boredom, comes riding up pretty hard because if I have no purpose in it, if what I'm doing, and then these campaign things, sometimes I'm like 50-50 on them. They have to be the right kind of thing for me. So,
campaign things?
Like the games that have campaigns in them, and that's the only way you play the game, like Stray. Like I heard it's only 15 hours, and I was like, oh, okay. So maybe one day I'll buy it, but I'm not ready to like deep dive. I'm looking for those games where I can kind of ruminate my thoughts and process and not have a tremendous amount of commitment, right? And that's the kind of thing with Minecraft. I can do it for a little
Stray.
bit.
I've played about an hour and a half, and I was not looking forward to completing it. No,
I watch streams. I watch my friends do it, and it looks really interesting. But then it kind of comes to the end, and I guess I'm too spoiled about these open world kind of environments. So that being said, I was playing. I bought Defend the Bits. And it's a tower defense game, and I really like it. It's really good. I want sort of on a hunt for more tower defense games, and they're like, they put that as like number 10, and the best ones they put on their list is like I didn't like so much. So a purpose in that game is you gotta level up, you gotta do some stuff to level up, and I basically have leveled up all I think but one bit. Right, those are the little defending towers, basically, those characters. And so I'm working on that. When I'm done, okay, it's still a fun game to play, and I'll finish up I'll try to get 3 stars on all the remaining sort of boards to unlock, but then I'll be done with that game. But that one doesn't have a lot of commitment to it. You know what I mean? It's not, I don't have to spend 15 hours on a single campaign to get it to unlock to make the game fun, right? To make it free and fun. So that's the kind of thing where games that require a tremendous amount of commitment, I'm like 50-50 on them, like up to a point where they get super challenging.
I like the open world aspect of games like Cyberpunk and Horizon and stuff like that. I like those kind of games where it's not as much having to build stuff, like for example with Minecraft.
Yeah.
But more of like just exploring a world. And there's like so many things hidden in this world. Like for example, in Horizon Zero Dawn, there was a lot of stuff hidden, but it was very empty. And in Forbidden West, there's more stuff happening. There's more outposts and villages and stuff like that you can run into, but they're still following the same, pattern and stuff. So that's kind of annoying. But there's so much deep background story in it. So there's so much stuff happening in the background. Like you don't really have to pay attention to those kind of things. You just go do an explorer. Like I spent like half an hour trying to get up a mountain, not the official way, like wall hopping against like a thing that I knew I could get a hold of, and then there's no hand grabs for that specific mountain because I don't think you're supposed to go up that. But at some point, I just get up there. And it's like, and I can go and explore certain parts, and then get to a location where I'm not supposed to be, and it's like, fun.
Yeah.
And like, oh wait, this wasn't supposed to happen until much later in the game. Yeah, so that's why I got, it's kind of fun to break these things. I like breaking games. Anyway, let's go through the fun stuff.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so music. I think my link is something you linked last time.
I linked a different song.
The problem is you linked.
This is still a good song.
Yeah, you linked
to Spotify.
And I couldn't open those at the moment, so it's like, oh crap. Okay.
It's funny because I went and I grabbed some music this week, and I went into Spotify and said copy the share link, and it was basically to the web link. So I went and I found said artist on YouTube for you.
Linking to YouTube is much better because it doesn't fuck up your Spotify lists, because it will do recommendations based on things, and sometimes I get recommendations from people and I just don't want to click those things because
I hear what you're
they
saying.
will mess up my and suddenly I have yodeling in my queue, and I don't really like yodeling.
There's an artist that I like, and she did a Tiny Desk concert and on NPR. So I watched that video, and then I was like, oh, let me check out some of the other artists that are, and I've watched the Tiny Desk concerts occasionally. Usually only if it's something that interests me. I'm not going there to discover artists. And
anyway,
then
the first link is Lizzie McAlpine Ceilings, Polymatic link /1993.
Yep. So I saw her in the recent list, and it's like, oh, I didn't know who this is, and I listen to music. So that's how I discovered her. So, a good song, good artist. I have listened a little more on Spotify. I've not bought anything yet. So, okay, what's next for me? Kinna, discovered on other ways, listening on Spotify. Get You the Moon. Really good chill song. Polymatic.link/19C. That'll take over to YouTube.
Okay, next one is Your Anxiety Buddy, Chamber of Reflection, Polymatic link /194.
I'm trying to remember. Oh, this is just music, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Kelly Rose, I'm Fine. An artist I discovered on TikTok. Pretty good music. This song I think I like the most from her. Polymatic.link/19D. She's still just sort of getting her bearings and becoming an artist. Yeah. That should take you to YouTube. Not. She is on Spotify, like everybody is.
Okay, next one is Scott Silver Bridges. I've shared Scott before, I think. Polymatic link /19 6 for that
Yeah.
one.
Okay, so I got a couple TikToks, and I'm trying to emphasize a little more YouTube if I can find them on there. But there's some interesting things on there, and this was I just called it Art on Ice. It's an artist who does art that's really meant to be seen by a drone on ice. Polymatic.link/19e. I thought it was interesting.
Okay, next one is a funny short one. Polymatic.link/197 for Crumb Feels.
I'm trying to remember what that
a little
was.
short little animation.
Oh, is that the okay? Yeah,
The cat.
Cuptoast, was that?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I was like, what the hell is this? Okay, probably on TikTok. Iconic movie trailers. Polymatic.link/19g. Actually, I can't remember. It might be on.
I think this is not on TikTok.
Might
I think
be
this
on
is
YouTube.
On YouTube. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, next one is Polymatic.link/195 for a working Lego enchantment table.
Yeah, that guy went really out of his way, but that's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so this is sort of they're on TikTok, but I mean, what's the point now? Great Big Talk is what I called it, but they used to be a Great Big Story. I used to share those a lot. There's really good like vignette, short little story, just interesting story things. That was coming out of Vox Media. Polymatic.link/19f. They, I guess, are repurposing. This one seemed like it was a new story for me. Whatever I had shared, it didn't seem like something I watched before. Maybe they're coming back. I don't know.
Okay. Next one is The Future is the Dead Mall by Folding Ideas. This is a pretty long video. I think it's like almost 2 hours, but it's about the whole. How do I explain this without spoiling it? Decentraland, metaverse, all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's how bad that actually is.
I didn't even know
the status of it
existed.
is and how bad it is.
Yeah, I never.
198.
Yeah,
Folding Ideas is a very good channel to follow. It's lots of long form stuff to watch, and yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, I never knew anything about this, and I'm glad I didn't. That's kind of how I look at it. Okay.
In short, grifters.
Yeah. Residential air parks. Okay, so this was like a Vox video I thought was really interesting. Polymatic.link/19h. This is I guess a part of California, probably North California, where you could. It's like a small community of very large houses that basically have airports instead of car garages. They have airplane hangars attached, and I think it's a really remote town or whatever it is, and residential air parks is what they call them. Polymatic.link/19h. Yeah. Okay, so God tier developer roadmap. I thought this was interesting if you've been programming for a while or want to know. There's a little like tinge of funny, but then there are like some of these languages I never heard of, and surprisingly, I've heard of most of them. Polymatic.link/19i. If you're not in development, this means nothing to you, but I thought it was pretty good.
Also, why do people need to shit on PHP so much? What the fuck, man?
That's not why I like this.
Sure.
No, I mean, how many of those languages did you never heard of?
I've heard of some of the more weird ones.
Right.
So like brainfuck and that kind of languages I've heard of and I've seen of. Some of them were like really weird, but most of them I've heard of or seen or touched or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, some of them were interesting, but I had a high percentage of knowing the history on these things, and even the ones that sort of predate my age, I was aware of them. There was not a lot of language innovation like there is. I wouldn't even say innovation, but a lot of language variety when I was younger. So we have so much of that now, based on sort of platforms and, hardware capability, right? We have so much variation now. So, yeah.
Okay. So, Alan, where can they find you? Apparently not on Twitter.
I mean, I don't really post that often. So
okay, Polymatic.link/Alan. For me, you can find me on Polymatic.link/John. For feedback, you reach us at podcast@Polymatic.media. For Twitter, the Polymatic. The website is Polymatic.media. Hope you tune in next time.